Hello and welcome to another episode of The Prescription with myself, the Vivi, and Dr. Mnandi. How are you, Doc?
Thanks, Vivi. Again, we are back. Today, we are not in the house. We are on the stage today. We're putting ourselves on the podium. You know, it's a time for marinade. It's time for so sanitizing. So people must enjoy. And we're giving a very proper explanation and information and education that people need to understand. Football, it's something special. And we are happy with what we've seen so far. I just want to say, sugar la muningi, too many sugar.
Too many sugars.
Yeah.
Let's start with it, man. So,
yeah,
I don't even want to touch on Super League. I don't want to, those Europeans, you know, they messed up. Our league would never. But let's talk about our league. I don't want to go there.
Yes,
let's talk about
please.
Our league. Last night, Tuesday night, we had top of the table clash. Coach Benny. His AmaZulu Chargers taking on Sundowns. The guys who I think are still going to be the eventual winners. But what did you make of that game? What did you make of the top of the table so far?
I thought it was a good game yesterday, especially what AmaZulu brought into the game. Credit must go to Penny McCarthy and his team. But again, I looked at Sundowns yesterday. I thought they were a bit lethargic in terms of the energy levels. Remember, they've been playing game after 3 days, game after 3 days. So I think the coach spoke about the trying to do individual periodization, which I think it's not yet into the up to scratch for the players. Because
what's that?
Remember, periodization it is an art of trying to load and unload training session. That means if the game are congested, as a coach, you need to be able to find an art to say, if we're not going to be able to prepare for the next game, and how do we recover? So it's a recovery plus also loading in terms of training. Do you overload or you underload so that the players can be fresher at all times? So remember, when you do periodization, it's about making sure that if each and every individual player is different. So if I do you, Vivi, I must look at your weight, I must look at your mass, I must look at your body holistically to say, Vivi, every after game, how quickly does he recover? How do I work with him? What do I do in terms of loading in his program? So I think with Sundowns, the coach, it's high time that now he needs to use the whole squad based on the squad that is playing now. It's not that he's not doing good or they are doing bad, no. But the fact that you can see the strategic part, the fatigue a bit part. So you need to refresh the squad, try to refresh the team. You don't have to make the holistic changes, but also you need to try to give other players a chance so that the squad can be refreshed. But if you look at yesterday's game from Sunday game, the Sundowns look a bit tired, look a bit fatigued. The game itself, it was a tactical battle, which I thought AmaZulu could have won it because Sundowns created only one chance in that game. AmaZulu looked sharper, AmaZulu looked stronger, but I must give credit to Penny McCarthy. I think for me, he's going to win the Coach of the Month again with the fact that his team, apart from the team, the fact that AmaZulu are on top of the log, but on top of the top 2 or top 3, but the fact that AmaZulu are doing so well in terms of playing, because we can talk about getting results, but if the team is not playing well, I'm not a fan for that. I'm a fan of a team that plays. I'm a fan of a team that plays well and also getting results. I can tell you, we're in for a photo finish. I think it's going to be interesting. Nice to see 2 teams from KZN being on top of the log. Arrows yesterday beating SuperSport, but something has been done right at Arrows. I know finding themselves on top of the log, on the top 2. It shows that Mato Madlala and his team are doing something right. And Mandla Ngigas, you must give credit where it's due. But hey, the players the Arrows players are very hungry, very hungry, very hungry. You can see with they've been looking to get something out of this season. They've done so well, and I think with the performances that they've shown, they need to get something. So, but let's hope they're gonna keep the consistency, because it's easy to say we are happy that the race is not yet done. We can only talk come the end of the season, but hopefully they'll maintain the standards.
Short. So we're looking at Sundowns, they're still at the top. I mean, they're 6 points ahead. and 2 games still in hand. But I don't want to talk about Sundowns right now. For me, I think they've got it in the bag. But hey, stranger things happened. Look at last season. Now I want to go down the table just a bit. I want to skip over Pirate. I want to go all the way down to 11. Now, Gavin Hunt's charges. What's happening there? Is the man just focusing on CAF Champions League? Does he just want trophies? Is he saying, hey, we've written off the season? What's his thinking? What's happening there?
Look, I think if you look at the whole season of Kaizer Chiefs, in a domestic league, they haven't done well in terms of being, especially with the Chiefs standards. I mean, Chiefs caliber, you can't find yourself out of top 8. Chiefs, you're guaranteed any trophy that is available, you need to compete in. Any league you need to compete in. But if you find yourself positioned at the level of Chiefs, it's evident enough for you to see that you are struggling this season. So I think Kevin Hunt, for as far as I'm concerned, he's struggling himself as a coach, because I can tell you right now, people are saying he needs to be sacked, he doesn't deliver. But what will help him is the fact that Chiefs have been refreshed the squad, they've been signed any new players. So he'll get away with that to say, next season, let's give him a chance. He'll be able to sign the players that he wants. But my biggest challenge with that, it's Chiefs, there's culture. Chiefs, there's a way of play. Chiefs, there's a way of doing things, a tradition. And Kevin Hunt cannot bring his own tradition in a big institute like Kaizer Chiefs. So it's going to be challenging, even if he signs the players. But again, he needs to negotiate with the board to say, can I bring this player? Because at Chiefs, you don't just bring any player that just can play, but you bring a player that suits what Chiefs is about, and also the identity, the DNA of Kaizer Chiefs. So with me, Kevin Hunt has struggled this season. He knows, and it has also showed in his game. You can see Chiefs are struggling, and they don't dominate games. There's no controlling games, and also if you lose to Cape Town City, remember Chiefs has beaten Cape Town City in the last 5 games, easy just like that. But again, if you lose to Cape Town City, if you lose, you've won the derby, which saves his jobs, if I'm not mistaken. But again, if you look at the games that Chiefs have lost, the draws that Chiefs have played this season, shows very clear that Chiefs are struggling. Kev, good for him. It's been a while. I think 2001, where Chiefs have done well in CAF competition. But again, the fact that they found themselves in a CAF top 8, it's a plus, and also it's gonna give the Chiefs fans, the board, a bit of relief to say, yes, we haven't done well in a domestic league, but in a CAF competition we've done well, and it also helps, like I said last week, that it strengthens the players, but it also helps the team to expand, because it's also about not just about being in domestic league in South Africa, but also to expand as a team. Yes, Chiefs is a big team, but they need to do well in all competitions, unfortunately. So Kevin Hunt knows when he has to do his feedback come the end of the season or the progression report, he knows he has struggled, and he needs to take a bullet into the hip to say, we've struggled, but hopefully we'll be able to refresh and sign the players that I want. But unfortunately, they need to suit the Chiefs' DNA and identity.
100%. On the topic of coaches, Doc. Bafana, this weekend, we're announcing the new one. Now, there's been speculations, of course. But I think the main members are, it's Pizzo, Benny, I think Tinkler, I heard mentioned. I'm not sure about Baxter and the boys. What's your take on that? Obviously, we needed a new coach. But who's that guy? Do we go South Africa? Do we try and find a Brazilian, a European? What's your thoughts on this?
Before I even answer that question, the first question I'm going to ask you, do Brazilian hire a foreign coaches to coach their national team?
No.
Definitely they don't. No.
Brazilian. They know the culture.
Do German hire a foreign coach to coach German national team?
No.
That question itself, it gives you an answer on what I'm about to say. But yes, 200 applications have been seen. The CVs have been seen. Just five names have come out. Obviously, Penny and Peter are out of the contention because of club commitments, which the clubs are saying no, we can't let them go. Yes, and then 3 names now are left because I was worried. I'll tell you what my biggest worry Yes, Javier Reina has done well with Ivory Coast and Zambia. He won 2 African Nations Cup. Carlos Queiroz, who coached me in Bafana Bafana in 2000 and 2002, and then Hugo Pros, who coached Cameroon and won the AFCON in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me well.
Okay.
Yes, good coaches, good character, good CVs, especially Carlos Queiroz, because he's had a taste of South African football in terms of coaching the national team. But the question is, Vivi, does he know the players? Is he keeping contact with our football? Definitely no. The name that pops up in my head, and anytime, any day, right now, I would say Eric Tinkler. And my reasons are very clear. One, Tinkler knows the culture of South African football. Two, Tinkler knows all the players of South African football. Three, I think he has worked well with the youth system in terms of connecting the bridge between our youth teams versus the senior team. Because yes, Carlos Queiroz has got a big experience with coming to that, because also he's very good when it comes to connecting the youth with the senior national team. But again, if you do the interviews of the coach, the first thing you need to find out is the long term and the short term, especially connecting the youth and then the senior team. If I were to choose a coach, I would say Eric Tinkler, but since he's not in a short list, I would say Carlos Queiroz. And for obvious reasons, he has already been in South Africa. He has worked he has seen what our football is all about, and ultimately is good with connecting the youth from the under 17s, under 19s, under 20s, under 23, in terms of connecting them with the senior team.
Yeah.
But also the coach that we need to get is a person who's going to be full-time in terms of making sure that he does this, the running around of making sure that he even sees the overseas players, because we don't select overseas players because they are playing in overseas. We select them because they are consistently playing, and also they can contribute.
Doc.
Yes,
you're playing overseas. Cool, you're playing for you're playing in the League One or something.
Yeah.
You're not playing. You're not coming off the bench late in games like that. You're not playing. How can we select you?
You're not playing. Yes. Yeah. I think that has been the mistake that we've made over the years. Yes, the experience of a player playing overseas, it comes in handy, but it doesn't mean that the player needs to come in and play in South Africa, because you need to be constantly playing to be selected, because you're only selected by means of playing. The players that are playing overseas, unfortunately, times have changed. They need to play regularly, but we need a coach who's going to be doing scouting, who's going to be having satellites to say, I'm going to go and watch certain player in this country to see what he delivers, and that will help him. And then when it comes to South African players that are playing regularly in the league, you look at the players that are playing in the league. I think some players are good enough for their clubs, but not for national team. So you need to be able to get that art right, to say, is he going to be good enough for national team, or is he going to be good enough for domestic league in South Africa? But it's very fine detail to be able to pick that up. That if I can select Vivi, he can only play for his team very well. Come national team, he struggles with the stage, because that stage is too big. Big stage. So in my prescription, it's very simple. We need a coach, first of all, number one, who knows the culture, who knows the tradition, who knows our players. Two, we need a coach who will connect the bridge between our youth system and our senior team. Three, we need a coach who will be full-time in our country, making sure that he sees all the players available for our national team to improve, because players nowadays, they've taken the foot off the pedal. So you need players that are committed enough to make sure that Bafana Bafana goes back to where it belongs. I mean, the 96, when we won the trophy, it was long time ago. When was the last time we tasted victory? It's long time ago. And but if to be quite honest, if we really take feedbacks, even us players, we haven't done well. We've dipped in terms of performances. We've dipped in terms of the mental attitude. We've dipped in so many aspects. To be quite honest. Yes, we blame the coach. Yeah, the coach does this, the coach does it. But also us players, I'm always fair when it comes to this. And that's why I prescribe this as this is a time where SAFA needs to be strong and making sure that they are very strict when it comes to this. Players need to take responsibility, but the coach that who's going to come in is the coach who's going to make sure that all these areas that has suffered over the years, the aspects, needs to be corrected.
Now, a name comes to mind here. Now, I know we want to finish off on that point, but now, can we go back to an X?
Yeah.
So then, Shakes?
Do you remember last week when I said Shakes Mashaba needs to come back?
I remember. But that's now,
yes. But let me give you a spin on Shakes' issue. I think Safa has got an issue with Shakes.
I think so.
If you remember Shakes, how he left Bafana, and I think he's the most successful coach in the Bafana setup. Exactly. But the problem is, the reason I'm not mentioning Shakes, I said Shakes last week, but the reason I'm not mentioning Shakes, what happened throughout the week, I already picked it up that, Safa's got a problem with Shakes. And I think the only person who can be Mr. Fix-It for Bafana is Shakes Mashaba, because he's the most successful and he's a coach that disciplines the team. And for me, players are afraid of him because of his style of coaching. But one important thing that Safa's got an issue with Shakes, so I don't see this opportunity for him to come back. I don't see no opportunity for him to be given a fair chance, because already Safa, if you're a strong character, they will say, no, we can't deal with you, Vivi. We need to deal with someone else because of the strong character. But me, if I were to make a choice, and my 120% choice and a prescribed and a surgical, Shakes Mashaba will be the man.
Thank you for that one, Doc. I appreciate it. I just want you to keep my mind there real quick.
Yes.
But thank you for the chat. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure, Doc.
As usual.
Keen for the announcement. When is it? Saturday, 24th.
Saturday, 24th.
24th of April. Guys,
yes.
Go to Dr. Mnandi's Twitter page to see his thoughts on after the announcement. Interact with us. Let us know. Let us know your thoughts. Doc, any final words?
My final words is just to say, hopefully we'll select a coach that will be able to change our football, to change the results. We haven't received the results for such a long time. But also, I just want to say, people must just not forget to wear their mask and always sanitize. Yeah. But what's important, don't forget to follow Marshall World of Sports and Dr. Mnandi. The competition is still running. Can't wait to announce the winner. I'm waiting to announce the winner. But I might just say we're enjoying ourselves, and thank you so much to everybody who's following us.
Salute. Have a good weekend. Safe betting, guys. Peace.